Today we have all gathered here for the Shri Noor Ahmad Ali Khan Memorial Endowment Lecture on Guruji's influence on overseas Bharatiya network. And for this program, I welcome the dignitaries on the dais and everyone assembled here. I would like to introduce the dignitaries as well as a little detail about the endowment lecture that we are going to have today. This endowment lecture is in the name of Shri Noor Ahmad Ali Khan, who is the son of actually a former Minister of Government of Karnataka, Dr. Mumtaz Ali Khan. In fact, Dr. Mumtaz Ali Khan, we know more about Mumtaz Ali Khan than his son. It was unfortunate that the son met with an accident and died. And Professor Dr. Mumtaz Ali Khan gave and instituted this endowment lecture in the memory of his son. In fact, Dr. Mumtaz Ali Khan is known a professor of sociology, and he had taken a lot of work on the social reforms, particularly with the Dalits and amongst the Muslims. And he was closely associated with the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And in the endowment lecture, he had made it a very important point that the endowment lecture should be related to the Guruji's contribution to Bharat. So that's why every year we have this endowment lecture, and the topic will be related to Guruji of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Today, to speak on this occasion, we have Shri Ravi Kumar Iyer, and I welcome Shri Ravi Kumar Iyer, who will be speaking on the subject.
And while coming here, they told that I am the only speaker and question answer is allowed. So I want to ask a question with the permission of both the dignitaries on the stage. Kapil Dev met Shri Guruji at Belgaum. What did he ask Guruji? That is my question. So you can Google and find out. What happened during the meeting between Kapil Dev and Shri Guruji, and it happened in Karnataka. The topic given to me is Shri Guruji's influence around the world. I'll start with certain current affairs that are happening around the world today. If you take the newspaper first page, or if you go into the international section, world news, something has happened in Korea last 2-3 days. Something is happening every day in Syria and in Israel. So certain relations between India and those countries. Korea has come with fantastic example for the whole world and for India also. The President of Korea announced emergency and we wanted to take over the whole. So he ordered the military to cordon the parliament. Initially, military has to obey the president's order. But then they thought that this changing a democratic South Korea into an autocratic like North Korea. Immediately they withdrew. And they said, we are sorry for taking over the parliament for a few hours. It is a mistake and we are not going to arrest anybody in the parliament. And so democracy was restored by the wisdom of the military people, and that president who proclaimed and wanted to become a dictator is now in trouble. So democracy was used by Hitler. He came elected leader, he took over and he became a dictator. He is a threat anywhere in the world. And you can see so many soldiers in South Korea, when local people are going in front of them, they'll bow down and say, this is a mistake we did. They did that mistake less than 2 days, but they apologize to everyone. So this is the spirit of democracy. Democracy spirit should be in every Indian. Only enlightened citizen can save democracy, otherwise it will go into dogs. The problem with India is, in any election in Bengaluru, the voting percentage has been never crossed 52%. Very bad. And how many educated people are working in political parties? Very few. And therefore you have a dynasty which is very dangerous for this country. Not only you should vote, you should also work for political parties. Another very, very dangerous signal in India is we do not have a patriotic opposition party. And country will collapse with unpatriotic elected leaders. And that responsibility is in us. Why we are not working for, you work for Congress, you work for Samajwadi, you work any party, but you must be working for political parties. Only then this politics is dirty. That dirt has to be removed by us. Okay, now the lesson from Korea is every one of us should be politically active. Then what is happening? Israel is pounding Syria like never before. Every city, every military installation has been neutralized by them. Otherwise their existence is threat. Israelis have no country except Israel. Hindus have no country except India. Do we realize that? But we have some lessons to learn from Israel. All the enemy people, they safely run away from India and take shelter in Pakistan and Bangladesh. Every now and then they come here and they go. And we are not doing anything to neutralize their, only under Narendra Modi, who is from the tradition of RSS or Guruji. Our military went inside Pakistan to neutralize some of their, but lot more has to be done. And continuous genocide of Hindus is taking place in Pakistan and Bangladesh. In 1950, the percentage was 24. In Bangladesh, it has become 8.9% today. Ethnic cleansing. Women have been butchered, men have been butchered, and women have been raped. And we are just watching the news as if it is none of our business. Then what will happen to them? And so, will Israel like this to happen for the Israeli anywhere in the world? Okay. Between India and Israel, we have strong connections. India is the only country which treated the persecuted Jews who took refuge in so many countries were again persecuted. But 2000 years they have been living in India. 2200 years before they came to Alibag. 2700 years before they came to Cochin. Having lived here for 2000 years, there was no persecution. When Tipu Sultan attacked some of their places in Kerala, Chera kings went and fought and told them to stay in the palace. We will protect you from the persecution of Tipu Sultan. Same way, when the Portuguese who were ruling Goa, they wanted to kill these Jews in Kerala. Again, the Chera king gave them refuge and protected them, and he died on the battle. So when the 80,000 Marathi speaking, Malayalam speaking, Gujarati speaking Jews are living in Israel, and they will say, Israel is my fatherland, India is our motherland. No German Jew will say, Germany is my motherland. No Russian Jew will say, no European Jew will say, Europe is my motherland, because they were persecuted. No Iraqi Jew, no Turkish Jew will say Turkey or Iraq is my motherland, but an Indian will say, in 2000 years we were never persecuted in India, and when some foreign forces wanted to persecute us, the local Indians, they died for our cause. So they will say, the blood in my veins is a Jewish blood, but the Devi in my heart is Bharat Mata. This is a unique thing in the world history. And Syria, what is the history of Syria 3,500 years before? How many of you know them? The Mitanni kingdom, the Hittite kingdom, how many of us know? The Mitannis and the Hittites ruled over Syria. In those days was called Anatolia. Part of Syria, part of Turkey, part of Iraq. They say Levant now, but in those days was Anatolia. And there you had a great Hindu empire. And we don't know anything about them, and we talk of Akhanda Bharat. Somebody said, when we will get Akhanda Bharat? When you know the history of Akhanda Bharat, geography will also join you. How many Hindu kings of Afghanistan you know? How many kings of Sri Lanka and Burma you know? Hindu history of Bangladesh you know? If you know all those things, Akhanda Bharat is a reality. Otherwise, it is just a statement. You know nothing about those countries which you want to claim as yours. Their Hindu history, if you don't know, then there is no Akhanda Bharat. But it goes beyond that. We had a Hindu history of Syria, Iraq and Turkey. How many of us know? Next to Turkey, there is one country. It is called Armenia. 4,000 years before, Armenia was ruled by Hindu kings. And they say, we are proud Aryans. That's why our country is called Armenia. Today, India has established good relations with Armenia. We have given them arms supply so that 100 years before Armenian, there was a huge Holocaust. The Azerbaijan and Turkey together annihilated lakhs of Armenians because they are Christians. But now again they wanted to annihilate them, but India has given them arms, and if you are well equipped with arms, only then peace is possible. Okay, coming to Syria, the Hittite and Mitanni Samrajya, there is something that you have to do. The Hittites defeated the Egyptians. And why Hittites are Hindus? This one sentence will tell you. They told the Egyptians, Ramesses II was very famous. If you have seen 10 Commandments, he was the ruler. And all the Israelis were building the pyramids. They were all used as slaves, including Moses. That is the story of 10 Commandments. It all happened 3,000 years before. At that time, Ramesses, whose forefathers had lost to Hittites, so he wanted to reconquer his Egyptian empire, and again he lost to Hittites. Hittites were all ruled by Hindu kings. And the Hittites told them, then always there is a peace treaty. And this treaty between Ramesses and the Hittite king is there in the Central Hall of United Nations, which says peace is necessary, war is not, and they have given this as the oldest existing peace treaty between two countries in the world history. And there the Hittite is, it's a Hindu country. This is called Battle of Kadesh. And there one of the rules that they said was, we don't believe in slavery. India is the only country where such huge temples have been built. Did they use the slaves? Nowhere we have been selling and buying the human as trade commodity. The only example is India. Elsewhere, everywhere, the human beings were used as slaves. And there the Hittites said, we don't believe in slavery. And then the Egyptians said, suddenly if we remove them, there will be a crisis of economics for our country. We cannot exist. We will release them slowly. When they relaxed those rules, Moses was able to escape and come to his motherland. From Egypt he traveled to Israel. This they call as Exodus. And several novels, several movies have been there. Nobody talks of the Hindu component of it. Because we don't make any history, we don't write on these things. Therefore this is forgotten. But even before this, there was a war between the Hittites and the Mitannis, and both of them were Hindus fighting with each other. And there was a peace treaty. It is not our job to find out the peace treaty and see that you put the Kadesh, Battle of Kadesh here, you put the Battle of Hindus there. Because this is older than that. And there also a peace was there between the Hittites and the Mitannis. That also should be there. We are not doing that research. And in that war, in peace treaty, you have to keep something as a judge or one who is overseeing the whole thing. In the peace treaty, they say, in the presence of Agni, Mitra, Varuna, Nasatya are Ashwini twins. In their presence, bowing down to them, we arrive at this treaty. The world's first available treaty also talks about Indra, Varuna, Nasatya, and we don't take claim. We don't do research on this. And Mythic Society is formed for research by the then collector. He said, I am going to form this Mythic Society, of collector of Bengaluru, Richards, I believe. And he said, I am forming this Mythic Society only so that I will study the history. So if this has been formed for this, then we should be doing that research and establish the Hindu content there around the world. You'll find these are all archaeological facts. So nobody can override them. And the history of what I am telling today is also written by the Germans and the Americans and various other country people. They have excavated and found all these things and told that this was an ancient Hindu country. Syria was an ancient Hindu country. The local people were not Hindus, but the rulers were Hindus. From where did they go? So, again, excavations and research by IIT, Kanpur and Kharagpur has said that from Mohenjo-daro, people have gone to all over the world. Because Mohenjo-daro, when it trades, it gives a seal. The Mohenjo-daro seals are very, very peculiar. And those seals have been found in 4,200 years before in Iran, then 4,000 years before in various parts of Middle East and right up to North Pole. These seals have been found. And we don't write the history of this. So history of Russia, the history of Azerbaijan, history of Armenia, if you dig deep enough, you'll find Hindu icons, Mohenjo-daro seals. So I need some people to help me out. Those who have got time, those who have got passion, those who have got energy, and they are fairly relieved from day-to-day affairs. Then we can create many history books. We can create many research articles. If you are ready, please let me know. Why I am saying this, I will tell you. When I went to Singapore, they were celebrating 200 years of Singapore, yet to come, and 200 years. 200 years before, Stamford Raffles had come, Singapore, and from there, the development had started, so 200 years of Singapore. The Chamber of Commerce there, the president, he met me, Indian Chamber of Commerce. He said, we are celebrating 200 years in another 2 years' time. Can you write the contribution of Indians in these 200 years? I said, to write history of Indians' contribution for 200 years is difficult. I can write for 2,000 years. He said, there is no history of 2,000 years. Singapore was not there. And I said, Singapore was here all the time. It will remain here all the time. Only thing, you have started from Stamford Raffles. If Stamford Raffles is the father of your country, this country would have been called Raffles Land or Stamford Land. He is not a Sanskrit Pandit to give you a name. Singapore. Welcome to Singapore, the city of lion. You say city of lion is our emblem. They have a mer lion as the symbol of Singapore. This will not happen by a non-Sanskrit paper. Immediately said, Ravi Kumar, whatever you want to write, you write. We will publish it. 2000 years before, Kannagi's daughter had come there, Manimekhalai, and there are temples for Manimekhala in Southeast Asia, and there are nobody knowing much about Manimekhala, the maker of Southeast Asia. That is another our drawback. But anyway, 1000 years before Rajendra Chola went there, it is taught to the students in Singapore once upon a time. Now they have changed the history. Now they say 200 years only. But Rajendra Chola met Chinese people at Singapore. It's a turning point in world history. The Chinese and the Indians have been meeting, and Singapore has played a host even today for Gukesh to play the game. Singapore has been the host country. Singapore takes pride in many Indian connections. We have to come to that, but some research has to be done. But one of the great grandsons of Singapore, of Rajendra Chola, through a Indonesian wife, his name is Sangh Nila Uttama, and he established the Kingdom of Singapore in 1199. And that is the starting point of your. He called this Singapore because the emblem of the Cholas is a Singha. There are no lions in Singapore, there are no lions in Malaysia, there are no lions in Sri Lanka, yet all of them in their flag they have a lion symbol because the Cholas were ruling there. The Sri Lankan cricket team is also called the Lions. From where Malaysia will get a lion? Only because of Rajendra Chola. Anyway, current events, little I have touched. Korea also I touched. The first lady of Korea, if you go back into the history 2000 years before, her name was Suri Ratna from Ayodhya. They take pride in saying that we are the descendants of a great, great, great grandmother from India. And that is why in Korean language, more than 500 Tamil words are there. Appa, Amma, Akka, Tangai, all these Tamil words are in plenty in Korean. And research is done by Koreans coming to India on this, not by Indians going to Korea and finding out who my great grandmother was. Okay. Now come to Shri Guruji. Guruji has talked about all these things, so therefore there is a connection between Guruji. I'll come back to that again. And has anyone found out what did Kapil Dev ask Guruji?
I think they met in Dharwad, that's what.
Yeah, that is from Belgaum. Okay. So there is one person who is ready to accept what I said. Others people will say, Ravi Kumar, you are selling all sweet dreams. Nothing is true. Guruji, certain inspirational incidents are his thoughts. In the 1950, as soon as India became free, they said Gandhiji is the father of the nation, Congress party. At the time, a strong opposition party was that of Ram Manohar Lohiya's Samajwadi party. Ram Manohar Lohia was a great scholar. He said, this country cannot have Gandhiji as the father and somebody as the mother and then uncle and aunt and grandfather and all. Nonsense. This is all Western concept. We should not accept Gandhi as the father. I don't accept him as the father of the nation. Now the whole country is divided by politicians. Two people continuously try to divide India, politicians and the media people. Immediately media people got away. Now we can divide India and the Indians. So they will go to everybody. Do you say Gandhiji is a father of the nation? Do you agree to this? If you say yes, then you will be half the, and if you say no, you will be in the other half. The whole country will go on dividing. They came to Guruji and asked him, do you think, some people are saying he is the father of the nation, some people are saying no. What do you say? When you have a binary, you have a problem. But Guruji has no problem because he knows the history of India. He can think beyond that. He said, Gandhiji is a great person, no doubt about it. The Mother India has given birth to so many great people. In the present context, Gandhiji is the greatest son of Bharat Mata. Did you understand?
Yeah.
So he has not taken A side or B side, but he has given a C way of looking at. He did not say that Gandhiji is not the father of the nation, but he meant it by saying Bharat Mata, all of us are children of Bharat Mata. We should know how to resolve problems. There are problem creators, but where are the creative intellectuals taking India above all of them? Second is another question. The way they ask question is to put you in a corner. So they will give so many examples and then they will ask a question. You know, Hitler was there, and Hitler became successful in a very short period. A book is written on him, a very famous book, I just now forget his name.
Mein Kampf.
Mein Kampf, Heinrich, that is the rise and fall of Third Reich. Let me just see his name if I can recollect here. William Shirer. So they told Guruji, see, William Shirer has written that success of, in a short period, Adolf Hitler became very successful because of intense hatred for the Jews. Now RSS has become successful. What is the secret of your success? So why did he say this, William Shirer, intense hatred for Jews? So he wants to come out from your mouth, he wants to dig out something. Intense hatred for A, B, C, etc. And here is the wisdom of Guruji. He said, intense love for the Hindus is the secret of RSS. Whether the Islam was born or not, even if Islam does not come to India, even if Christianity had not come to India, and if the Hindus are divided because of language, if the Hindus are divided because of caste and creed, RSS will still be working for them. Intense love for the Hindus is the secret of RSS success. So you must always raise your bar, draw a bigger line and bigger line. You know the simple puzzle, I draw a line, and without touching this line, how will you make it small? Put a bigger line besides it, this becomes small. You have not touched it. So this is the wisdom of Guruji. Then students were going overseas for study. That's how Indians went first to Australia, they went to New Zealand, they went to America. Initially only student pass was given. Later on they stayed back and they became engineers in those countries, doctors, etc. So he was asked the question, students are going overseas, what should be done? Then he gave the example of Kacha Devayani from our Mahabharata, ancient wisdom. The war was there all the time between the Devas and the Danavas. But Danavas had a guru called Shukracharya, and he had a magic with him. To all the people who are dead, he can make them alive again. So the Devas can never win unless they have the Amrit. Before that they were dying also. Only after drinking that Amrit during Manthan, they were able to sustain this. But they said these people have got a mantra to make people alive, give birth to dead people. This mantra we don't have. So we should send somebody. So they sent Kacha, a brilliant young boy. So he went to a foreign country for studies. Like many of us who are going to USA, West Germany, etc. So he went to study there. Then what happened? Shukracharya would teach him anything except this mantra of bringing back to life. And that's what the Danavas all worried. This man has come from that land and he will take away your nuclear arsenals, he will take away the knowledge of so many things. And therefore, they wanted to kill Bhabha. Homi Jahangir Baba was killed because he was ahead of others. Under his guidance, BARC would have produced more lethal weapons. So anyway, coming back to Kacha. So he promised that I will never teach him this mantra. Rest of the thing I will tell them. Small thing, let him learn from here and go back to his motherland, Bharat. So at that time, but they were still suspicious, some of them, some of the elements. They said, let us kill him. So they killed him. But his daughter, that is Shukracharya's daughter, Devayani, was in love with him. So she said, oh, I want Kach, you must revive him. So he was just looking for a jnana drishti. He knew that his dead body is laying somewhere there into pieces. So he was, through his mantra shakti, was able to make him alive. Again Kacha became, and he was attending the classes. So again, these people thought this is very bad. We will kill him, cut him to pieces and feed to dogs. So that he did. Again Kacha, Devayani started weeping. Where is Kacha? He is not seen, he has been killed. Again through his mantra, through his drishti, he was able to know that 4 or 5 dogs have eaten him. But he was able to bring them back and alive, and Kacha was again back to life. So this time they thought, this is very bad. We will kill him, mix him with goat, etc. and feed Shukracharya. So again she was crying, where is Kacha? And Shukracharya understood that he is sitting in my stomach. And if I give birth to him, my stomach will burst. He will be alive, but I will be dead. Now what to do? Then he talks to Shukracharya in his stomach and says, I will teach you this mantra. When you come out of my stomach, please revive me and make me alive. Kacha learnt while he was in the stomach of his guru, Shukracharya. He learnt the message, he learnt this mantra. As Shukracharya died because his stomach was burst, but he was able to revive him. So he became alive. Now Kacha said, my graduation is over. I am going back to my country. This is the lesson we can take from our ancient wisdom, where our students should go. Doesn't matter when people go overseas. My thinking there's no. This is the wrong concept to say there is a, what they say? Brain drain. Absolutely wrong. 50% of Israeli people are staying in Europe. And that's why Israel is a strong country, and no country can say any one word against Israel. 60% of Ireland people are outside Ireland. Ireland is a very rich country. And when Norway was a very poor country, it is the overseas Norwegians who made Norway today GDP #1 in the world. It is a brain gain all the time. There is a Rishi Sunak in Britain. There is a Dr. Anand Satyanand, the president of New Zealand. I am telling only about the developed countries. I am not talking of Mauritius and Trinidad and Guyana. There Indians are 30%, so there naturally some Indian becoming prime minister and all fine. But in a western country where Indians are less than 2%, and still in Ireland, the most popular prime minister is from Bombay, Lakshman Varadkar. In Portugal, a person from Goa, Antonio de Costa is the prime minister there. So in western countries, and till now Kamala Harris was the vice president of America, and today with David Vance becoming the vice president, the second lady of is also from Andhra Pradesh. She is from Visakhapatnam, Usha Chilikuri, and her grandfather, or maybe great grandfather, was Sanghachalak of entire Dakshin Bharat. Subramanya Shastri, Sangha Karyakarta. Okay. So, going overseas, his Guruji's thoughts you understood. About Gandhi I told you, about William Shri I told you, and Kachadevayana. Now, wisdom of Gandhiji in overseas countries. First I asked you, what did he tell Kapil Dev? Did anybody find the answer? No, it is still pending.
Google doesn't know.
Google knows. Google knows. In question answer, I generally tell whatever question you ask me, Google will answer better than me. These days, after 2007, in 2007, 3 universities came into existence. WhatsApp University, Twitter University, YouTube University. Now you don't have to ask anyone. Go into Wikipedia, go into YouTube, ask question, everything is answered. And if you don't, if the answer is wrong, if you think from a higher standpoint of view, put your contents, it will show the right answer also. That also responsibility is also ours, not to blame all the time Google and YouTube. And then, so Kapil Dev will keep it pending. And his first chapter in Bunch of Thoughts. Bunch of Thoughts was written by Hove Seshadri. All the collection of various speeches that Guruji has given is condensed into a small book. Unbelievable. Anybody who wants to do research on modern India should read Bunch of Thoughts, in addition to Ambedkar's book Thoughts on Pakistan, etc. And the notes that I had prepared during my first year, second year of Sangha Shiksha Varga and all, and during those periods in the 70s, are still helpful to me. The first chapter in that Bunch of Thoughts is Our World Mission. And there he says, from millions of years, Hindus have been praying one thing. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramaya. Means, let everyone be happy and let everyone be free from disease and unhappiness. This you will not find in any other religious book. Please go around the world and show me equivalent of this. And yet we don't propagate our religion. I am remembered of a debate that took place in the United Nations. When Kofi Annan was the Secretary General, and it was the year 1999 coming to year 2000. That transition is called what? End of a millennia, beginning of a new millennia, 2000 years, and that was the time Y2K problem also came. I'm not touching the Y2K sort of it. And Kofi Annan thought in United Nations, we have different verticals. We have a vertical for health, World Health Organization. All the political leaders are coming and meeting here in our assembly. For children, we have got UNICEF. Like that, we have many verticals. But if war has to stop, then religious leaders should also come to United Nations. So let us start bringing all the religious leaders. For that, he wanted some funds and help. Ted Turner said, I am ready to spend $3 billion on this mission of peace. I made money by showing to the world exclusive rights on what is happening in Iraq-Kuwait war. Because Iraq had invaded Kuwait and taken. So those things he was showing, and whole world was watching what is going to happen. So that war, I made a lot of money. My hands are stained with blood. I want to clean my hands. I will give $3 billion. How to bring peace. So if you see that Time magazine, beautiful. There were 2,500 Hindu Buddhist monks, Hindus coming mostly from India, maybe some Mauritius, etc. But the Buddhists coming from Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Japan, Korea, China, etc. So in the 2000 hall of 2000, 400 were Indians. 400 were Hindu Buddhist Dharma traditions in saffron color. And all others were in white color, whether they are mullahs or whether they are Christians of various denominations. Questions to all of them was how to bring peace according to your religion. The Christians came and spoke, whether they are Catholics and Protestants and Seventh-day Adventists, etc. They said, if everyone becomes follower of Catholic religion or Protestant religion or Seventh-day Adventists, etc., there will be peace. Till then we have a sacred duty to convert them. So we consider them as heathens, and conversion is our sacred duty. The mullahs are also saying, unless they become Shias or the Sunnis, they become to this. Till then there will be jihad. It is a sacred duty. The Hindus who came and they said the war is outcome of your mind, and the mind is corrupt with various lust. So 6 enemies are there: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsara. To overcome that, we have Bhakti Yoga, we have Jnana Yoga, we have Dhyana Yoga. The Buddhists will say there is 8-fold path. So they were giving the answers to the problem. Kofi Annan asked Ted Turner to speak. Ted Turner said, I'm not a speaker, no, but you are the main funder. And from the Indian side, there was one person called Baba Jain. So he also helped them in bringing all the Hindu monks, etc. Now Baba Jain is coming to Delhi next month. He's a world-renowned person in the United Nations. So there, Ted Turner said, I don't know much about religion, but I've been going through these 3 days of conference. When I was a small boy, and I used to attend the sermons in the church. So one day I asked him, I must have been around 10 years or so, I asked the father, you say that those who believe in Christianity alone will go to heaven, others will go to hell. Do you think Socrates will go to heaven? He said, no, he will not go to heaven, he will go to hell. Why? What crime did he commit? The crime committed by Socrates and Plato and Aristotle and Archimedes and Pythagoras is that they were born before Jesus Christ. He said that, how can they be born with their intellect? No, we are not born because of our intellect. We are all just born. No, that is their mistake. They were born before, so they cannot come. Then what about those millions of people who never heard the Jesus name at all? Again, they will go to hell because that is their problem. They have not heard. Okay, fine, anyway. Then he asked the mullah the same answer they came. If they are not following our religion, they will go to hell. Then this Ted Turner at that small age said, in that case, heaven will be a lonely place. And all the great people will be in hell. I will like to go to hell. So he'll bless anybody who will say, go to hell. Anyway, this he told in the Central Parliament. Then later on, Kofi announced a statement. He said, I went through all these people's arguments. He said, Dalai Lama's statement is very, very relevant. Dalai Lama had said that the world will continue to remain multi-religious, multilingual, multiracial. That is how God has created this world. Wisdom lies in finding unity in the midst of diversity. And that is what Hindus have been saying, unity in diversity. And that is what Guruji has emphasized in his bunch of thoughts. So Kofi Annan's last statement is a blessing or a warning or what lesson for the Hindus. He said, answers to the world problem are with Hindus and the Buddhists. And knowing all these answers, you are keeping quiet. I request you to spread your wisdom to the entire world without converting them. What else we want? We have got green signal from everyone, but we are not doing it. We are not doing anything for the girls who are fighting for their rights in Iran. What are we doing? Nothing. What are we doing for our own brothers in Bangladesh? It's really, if you look at the horror in which the Hindus have been killed, think of it. Anyway, so Guruji's wisdom, world mission is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, and is India fulfilling? We have a Sangh pracharak as Prime Minister. What happened in February last year? Turkey has been forever anti-India or in the United States for Kashmir issues. It always sides with Pakistan against India. But Turkey had a devastating earthquake 2023 February. Without any request coming from Turkey also, within 18 hours, plane load of trained dogs, plane load of nurses, army personnel, all trained how to work in earthquake zone. When the building crumbles and falls down, there are many people buried under the debris. And if you don't rescue them in 3 days, they will die of suffocation. So immediate action is required. Our team went there. We have sniffing dogs who can identify where the person is buried. And so you will be able to rescue them. This rescue operation maximum 3 days, 4 days. And rest, how to build a turkey is there. Slow process, they will be saying if they need any help we can give, but these people have to return. On the 10th day they were returning. At the airport, thousands of Turkish ladies, men and women in tears were giving them a farewell. And they said, we want to, thousands of our relatives have been rescued because of your fast action. We want to worship you. You all have a tricolor flag here. Please remove that and give it to us. We will keep in our prayer room. And that is what India stands for. Sri Lanka has gone the Chinese way, and yet it was having severe economic crisis, fuel crisis, food crisis, fertilizer crisis. India said, we give you a blank check. $3 billion we say, we give you. Tell me what are the items you want, we will buy it on your behalf and send it to you. And that is better way of controlling the corruption that is going on in Sri Lanka. You give it to them $3 billion, suddenly $2 billion evaporate. No. You give us a list of items you want and everything will be provided to you. No single Sinhalese will starve to die. We give you guarantee. Same thing we told Nepal. Nobody will starve and die. In your earthquake, we give you all the protection and this. Like that we have been helping people in Fiji, people in Guyana. Across the globe we have helped people in the last 10 years. Entire Africa we have been helping them. And that is why in G20, which took place in Delhi, all the G20 meetings people will be saying, in the next G20, we will try to bring Africans also into the network. But they never brought 53 countries of Africa. But during COVID, you have seen that China gave a gift to the world called COVID virus. But within 1 year, India came with a vaccine. And India's gift to the world was Covaxin. The difference between China and India is very clear. We gave Covaxin to many countries. In some countries, normal price. To some countries, no profit. And some countries, without profit. Free we gave to African countries. You know what America did in reaction? They said to make this vaccine, India needs a lot of chemicals, say 100 chemicals. 80 chemicals are within India produced. But for 20 chemicals, you are going to Japan, you are going to Germany, you are going to our NATO countries. Now we put a ban on yours. Because you are giving free to African countries, we are not able to sell. That time I wanted some help from some people. So one person said, yes, Ravi Kumar, I am ready to help you. Try to contact your friends and relatives in America and right up to the White House you should go. Are you ready? Are you confident? He said, yes, I will do it. And then he went on, took 2-3 months, and he spoke to Vice President. He said, what is this law? Why are you banning this? We are only helping those countries which cannot. If the COVID spreads in Africa, a new variant will come and it will destroy your youth and our youth. The most people who are dying are young people. It will destroy your country and our country. Being a leader of the world, you should have given free to them. We are giving and you are not listening to that. Initially, Kamala Harris spoke. She won't speak, but her spokesperson was very angry and talking to us. But after some time, Kamala Harris came back on the phone and said, you have opened our eyes. We are removing the ban on India and we will give you, as a gesture of thanks to you, I have spoken to some companies in America, they will give you medicine free of charge. You have to airlift it to bring it to India. Now, one company is ready to give 200 crores, another is 300 crores. So this thing can be handled only by state governments. So we told Chief Minister of here, Yedurappa, are you interested? He said, yes. Immediately you sign a contract with them. So he signed with one contract. And 200 crore rupee worth of medicine was given to Karnataka. The moment she came to know that within 3 days we have seized this, taken this transaction, again Kamala Harris said, how it is going fast? I said, this is new India which you have not understood. You have to deal with a new India, vibrant India. Okay, I have spoken to another country, another company. Total, we got 1,500 crore worth of medicines coming from there. How did we do it? Only with the help of this mobile. Because 2007, the WhatsApp University and Facebook University and Twitter University enables you to contact anyone. We have to do many more things for which I need some intellectuals, people ready to work for it. For Bharat Mata, we can make many things to happen. So it's up to you. So coming to this, the wisdom from Guruji that we have learned, this Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, we have to take it forward to the world. That is everyone's job. And then in that he has written, I don't know, nothing is taught in schools and colleges, and yet he had said at that time, the Hindus, our arms are stretched as far in the west as Russia and Greece, and in the east up to Korea and Japan. When I read this, I was not able to understand what was Korea's relation with India, Japan's relation with India, so many countries, Greece and... but now, in today's world, you cannot make fake news. Because everything you have to give a reference. All these things are becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. I'll tell you one example that happened in 2007. President was Abdul Kalam. He went to Greece. The Britishers always claimed that all the knowledge in the world came from Greece. So when you say anything that we are older than Greece, oh, Pythagoras theorem. But before that we had Bodhaya, they will not accept. Even Chanakya was a mythological figure. We don't accept. Where is Arthashastra? And see, if you don't produce Arthashastra, we cannot accept him as a historical figure. So history, when they wrote India, they will say India's history starts with Chandragupta Maurya, Magadha Empire. That is 3rd, 4th century BC. And ours is very ancient, 6th and 7th century BC. So anything that you have, all the wisdom of India can be kept in one cupboard of British Library. These are all the statements they had made. So one person called, how many of you know him? Rakhal Das Banerjee.
Indus Valley.
Yes, sir. Somebody has to say something.
Indus Valley civilization.
Kapil Dev.
Yeah, he went
Way back in 1960, Shambhunath Kapil Dev,
Right?
MP.
the then MP.
Give him a big hand. He has found it.
Yes. Hindu ethos has been completely getting destroyed, and we have to work to, improve this. And all over the world, there should be a revival of that.
Got it?
Yes.
The
Yes.
organizer, okay, they have.
Belgaum. He met him in Belgaum.
Yes.
Yes.
His name was Dr. Shambhunath Kapil Dev, not the cricketer Kapil Dev Nikunj.
Yes.
The Kapil Dev of Trinidad and Tobago. He was a member of parliament there. He came all the way to India to request the Indian parliamentarians. We Hindus are suffering at the hands of the Christians and the Muslims. And we have no Hindus coming and helping us. Can you help us? Now you are a new country. Indian government refused to help Hindus around the world. But one of the wise men said, better you go to RSS. So he came to RSS Delhi office. I want to meet the chief of your organ. Because to take any decision about foreign countries, Delhi office cannot take. They said, you go and meet Guruji. Guruji is all the time traveling. So they arranged a meeting at Belgaum. And what did Shambhunath Kapil Dev, after listening to Guruji, what did he say?
Global organization for Hindus.
Thank you.
And he did he interested Dada Saheb Apte.
Active for
Dada Saheb Apte. You should remember, because this is how the history has changed. And we are getting the benefits of the history. And coming back to this little later, the British have said you don't have an ancient history. Then some people said, what about Buddha? He was in 6th century BC. Okay, push the Indian history up to 6th century BC. Nothing before that. Babylonia is too much older than yours.
Rakhal Das Banerjee.
You got it? Rakhal Das Banerjee, you know him.
I know him.
You know him because you're in the...
Indus
You know
Valley
how much he must have been tortured. Rakhal Das Banerjee said, the Mohenjo-daro Harappa takes us to 4,000, 5,000 years. And there was no Greece at that time. There was no Europe at that time. There were no henges. In your all that you call your great ancient people did, nothing existed before 4,000 years. And here is a great civilization, 5,000 years old. He must have been tortured, he must have been put in jail, he must have undergone so many difficulties for saying that Indian civilization is older than European civilization. A turning point in their history, in our history. We don't know about him, Dr. Akhil Das Banerjee. But more ancient than Mohenjo-daro is Harappa. But anyway, Mohenjo-daro is a landmark because it was challenging the Britishers. And older than Mohenjo-daro and Harappa is, which is that? This all happened in the few years of excavation in the 21st century. Which place? Pardon? Haryana. Which place?
Rakhigarh.
Fantastic. Give a big hand to our...
History teacher.
But people should know this is our heritage. A place in Haryana called Rakhigarh, a place in Rajasthan called Kalibangan, a place in Gujarat called Dholavira. These are all the oldest planned cities anywhere in the world. Up till today, this is the oldest planned city, and you cannot reach these places in a normal way because it is, except for a boat, this is United Nations heritage. There are no roads taking you there, there are no planes taking you there. Had it been in Germany or in Ireland or in Spain, the whole world will be going and watching Kalibangan. It would have been in the history books of all the children of the world. The first planned city is Rakhigarh. Here nobody is talking of that because we are sleeping. When I went to British Royal Society, they had invited me for a lecture. And the president said, anybody has to give speeches only for 40 minutes, then 20 minutes question answer. So limit yourself. So I spoke about 40 minutes what India has given to the world. And two people stood up, no, you said India has given something to Europe, something to Africa, something here, but you have not covered the entire flow. No, I said 40 minutes given to me is over. Oh, that 40 minutes was put by me because people go on talking. But what you are telling is very important for us. We want to listen everything. You continue, there are no limits for you. I looked at the president and the president said, please continue because these are the two people who don't like to listen more than 40 minutes and they have agreed. So I went on telling. So in question answer, it went on for 2.5 hours. At the vote of thanks, the president said, in my living memory, I have never seen in the British Royal Society anybody speaking for 2.5 hours and still people want to ask questions. And they were all great elite people there. One question they asked, why India having so much of knowledge did not share it with the world? Again, the onus is on us. In the Western world, they are always right till you prove that they are wrong. In the third world countries, you are always wrong till you prove you are right. The whole thing is upside down. So I said, there is something called boomerang. I also had underwent training for that. You throw that stick there, it will break that mango will fall down, but the stick will come back to you. So your arms are not stolen by others, it will still be with you. This only the aborigines of Australia they knew. And nobody in the world knows this. And where are those Australian aborigines? The last Australian aborigine, Tasmania, was killed brutally and eaten away by the Britishers 120 years before. Immediately he stood up and said, no, don't tell too much about it. I know we have destroyed all the civilizations. And if this is not known to the world, what you are telling, it is also our, because they ruled, Britishers ruled our country. They decided what to be told and what not to be told. Then they accepted, yes, it is our mistake. But why Indians are not doing PhD on this? Why they are not writing in the international journals? How will we come to know? But this is again, they will have to finally end with a blame on India. So I said, no use of discussing with them. So many people should have got Nobel Prize. But you said we'll nominate them, but we'll never give. So many people are nominated for Oscar awards, but they are never given. Now you have to change your mindset. He said, okay, I understand. So you should be also be able to take them. So I need people who can take on them. Then we can create a beautiful world. for the sufferings of Bangladesh, we can change the world, lead us also, but required from you. A person with a mobile and person with a passion, ready to work for Bharat Mata, everything is possible today. So, Kapil Dev said, we are under torture of these Christian missionaries, the Muslims coming. So please save us. Then Guruji thought we should be sending people overseas. But even before that, in 1954, Ram Prakash Tirji was sent to Burma. 1959, Lakshmana Bhideji was sent to Kenya. And a lot of things have happened in these countries. And I limit myself because question and answer we can do something. But today, in a most interconnected world, we can do a lot of things that happen. Something that happened that everyone should know, I will just mention a few things. Something that I have done, maybe in question and answer we can take it up. But he wrote in the 60s that we had a cultural empire from Greece up to Japan and Korea. One example, 2007, when President Abdul Kalam went to Greece, the President of Greece, Carlos Papilou, spoke for 20 minutes in chaste Sanskrit language. Get into Google and see. And Abdul Kalam was puzzled. He said, how did you learn Sanskrit? Why did you learn Sanskrit? So this person, Carlos, says, when I was a small boy, in the school they used to tell me that ancient Greek language is the mother of all European languages. But it is dead now. The local people who speak, we speak Hindi, we don't speak Sanskrit. We speak a version of Sanskrit called Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, etc. Original Sanskrit is not spoken by most of us. Similarly, nobody speaks ancient Greek, the Greek of Socrates and Plato. So I thought I will learn this ancient Greek language. I went to Germany to study that because Germany is the center for many ancient languages. Even if you want to learn something great about Sanskrit, you go there. So the professor asked, why are you learning this ancient Greek language? Because it's a dead language, nobody will be interested in that. You cannot make money out of it. He said, because it is the mother of all European languages. Okay, fine, I understand your passion. But do you want to study the mother of Greek language and the Roman language and grandmother of all the European languages? He said, Greek also has a mother? Yes. What is it? It is Sanskrit. Who is saying this? A German professor is saying that Sanskrit is the great grandmother of all the European languages. Did we know that? This is called Indo-Aryan languages, Indo-Persian languages, so many different words they call it. Why Indo and why Aryan, I don't know. But these are all they had coined in those days, thinking that the Aryans have come from overseas, therefore Indo-Aryan. India and Aryans have some relations. But now everything has been busted. Indians and Aryans are same. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, we are all Indians, we are all Aryans, we are all one. But now going back to that, so many other incidents have taken place in recent years. In 1987, Benito Craxi he was the Prime Minister of Italy, he came to Bengaluru. So Rajiv on the phone and asked him, why are you coming to Bengaluru? You should come to Delhi and tell me what is it that you want. What is your agenda? You want defense pact, you want trade pact, anything. Benito Craxi said, elections are going to take place in Italy. And I want the blessings of Puttaparthi Sai Baba. Therefore I have come here. What a great Bangalore is. Similarly, in 1997, Nelson Mandela, just president of newly born country South Africa, he attended a World Hindu conference there. Because South Africa, apartheid, nobody could go, so we thought that we should have a Hindu conference, invite Hindus from all over the world. Now apartheid is gone. And there he said, he has got only 20 minutes, he will address and he will leave. But he sat there for 3 hours. So I asked him, what is this? He said, I have to form a new constitution for South Africa. South Africa, majority, 90% are blacks. But the traders from city to city who are taking goods from here are Gujaratis and Punjabis. So we have brown Indians. And all the mills and factories and industries are owned by white people. If you see South African cricket team, you'll see so many. Alan Donald, fast bowler, he's a white man. So, in the midst of these three races, how can they live in one country? So Idi Amin in 71 said, all of you get out from here. So many Gujaratis had to leave. And their currency just became a tissue paper. We don't want our economy to crumble by asking Indians and the white men to go. But how to live and how to form a constitution? And I found the answer here in everybody's speech. Because everyone who comes here, he says, Asato Masadgamaya, or he says, unity in diversity. This unity in diversity I had never heard before. And this alone can save my South Africa. So he took that. In the 21st century also, Thabo Mbeki became Prime Minister in 2000. And he said, addressing University of Durban. In Durban there are whites also, students are whites also, blacks also, and Indians, browns also. To them he was saying, we have to make this country great. All of us are South Africans. We are all children of Ma South Africa. But is it ever possible? Is a question in everybody's mind. Just imagine 10,000 years before what the Hindu sages and saints have said. Sangachadvam, Sambadatvam, Sambho Manamsi Janatam. We have to walk together. We have to think together. Our mind should be in unison. He's quoting from Rig Veda. This will help the whole world. Today world has got so many problems. Guruji has said, go to the world with the vision, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. I'll tell you one more example what Karnataka has done in Sydney. In the Sydney they announced, when I was listening to that Marconi is the father of radio. And now Australian Broadcasting Commission is 100 years old, thanks to Marconi. So we are going to tell the story of Marconi all the time. So I collected some people. Is anybody ready to refute this? This is nonsense. The father of radio, who is the father of radio?
Sanjaya.
Sanjaya. No, tell me some normal names. Fantastic, give a big hand to him. The real father is Jagdish Chandra Bose. Now, one who has got time? In those days, in the year 2000, only email will work. There were no Twitter, etc. So one person from Bangalore, he said, I am ready to give time every day for this. So early morning 5:30, he will leave his house and go to his office. He will reach office by 2 trains, so takes time. 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, he will only work on this work. In his office, he has a steady email. And then 8 o'clock onwards, his office work. Every day, 1 hour I am giving. 1 month over, 2 months over, 3 months over. To give birth to a child takes 10 months. He realized it because he was a married man, and he realized a second time when he came with this. At the 10th month, said, Ravi Kumar, Eureka. I said, are you clothed or you are naked? No, I am fine. And then he said, I have a letter from IEEE, Institute of Electrical Electronic Engineers. They are the highest authority in the world. They have sent a letter to me saying that Marconi is a fraud. You are ready, you are free to show this to anyone. The instrument that Marconi used, Marconi was very intelligent. See, in those days, Jagdish Chandra Bose had already found it in 1890s. In Calcutta, from one building to another, without any cable, that is called radio transmission. Then he was invited by Royal Society in Britain. And then they told, please travel all over Europe. So he went to Italy, he went to so many places. In one place, his diary, his transducer and his receiver, all three were missing. And all three were used by Marconi. Marconi went all the way to Canada, Newfoundland, and from there he patented it. IEEE says it is the greatest fraud in 20th century by a scientist. We disown Marconi. We salute Jagdish Chandra Bose, all their words. All happened because of one person. You can make many things happen. Instead of asking questions outside, please ask questions within you. let me solve one problem of India. I have done my duty to Bharat Mata.
First of all, I thank Mythic Society for having organized this kind of a talk by Raviji. Raviji touched various aspects, including the influence of thoughts of Guruji's, which is, of course, many of the Swayamsevaks knows bunch of thoughts, and how it has influenced across the globe and across the knowledge system. He gave a lot of examples, of course, and also many of the examples which were quoted definitely, I am sure, would have inspired many of us. ಭಾನುವಾರ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಧಾವಂತದ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೋಮವಾರದ ಕಡೆ ಗಮನ ಹೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಭಿಕರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೃದಯಪೂರ್ವಕವಾದಂಥ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. I can imagine that it is not that easy when, particularly while coming from Keshakurpa to here, we were talking, myself and Raviji, that how Bangalore mentalities or other most of the bigger cities, people are losing the attention span because nobody would like to stay for a long time. But on spite of that, you all are here, shows two things, that we all were very much interested to know the subject, and Raviji also could engage all of us. So both the things, I think, are achieved in this today's session. Thanks, Raviji. Guruji, what we know, or Madhav Sadashiv Godolkar, what most of the outsiders look at Guruji, definitely has given a huge contribution to definitely Sangh as an organization and society in general. He was, I would say, heading the organization when the atmosphere was extremely turbulent, if I use this word. Particularly in some occasions, maybe which we can see in some of the books or articles. It happens even now. We try to put all our stakes on political system. Same thing happened during 1950s, I believe. Janasangh was portrayed by media that they are going to get a lot of seats, and then most of the well-wishers, Swayamsevaks, were also thinking on the similar lines. But disaster was waiting, and then Janasangh could not get the number of seats which were expected. Like human beings, we get into a depression when something unpleasant or unexpected or such a gravity which happens, which cannot be digested by individuals. Organizations are also no exceptions. So whole of the organization, in a way, I can say, was in a depression. And that was the time when Guruji gave the courage and organized the entire Sangha ecosystem, if I have to call that way, to say that don't lose the hope, get welded to your core value system, be there, and definitely you will be successful. During that era only many organizations took birth. It could be Akhil Vidyarthi Parishad, it could be Bharatiya Sangh, it could be Vanvasi Kalyanashram, it could be Saraswati Vidya Kendra. Many, it just like unfolded, the whole, I would say, the society was touched by Sangha ideology or thoughts. That's one of the great contribution of Guruji, which was, I would say, his vision, those years, guided the entire organization and the society, what today we are seeing. So I am sure that most of the Swayamsevaks who wants to know more and more about Guruji, some new things definitely today we had an opportunity to learn. Because most of the things which are available either through books or through Sangh Bauddhik, what we call normally, or speech, we know about Guruji. We try to understand his life. We try to see what we can learn from those examples which we could practice. But some of the things which would have influenced the entire world were to some extent not discussed openly, not discussed within the organization because of its own limitations. But today, those leaps were also taken out of the history and were put in front of us. I only suggest, as a residential note, that this journey should continue. We should try to learn more and more what Guruji has contributed to the nation and society and universe. So with this, I conclude my presidential.
Good afternoon, everyone. We had such a great time listening to such great thoughts. Mark Twain, one of the greatest, very great writer of America, he says, India is the cradle of human race. It is the birthplace of human speech. It is the mother of all history. It is the grandmother of all legend. And it is the great-grandmother of all great traditions. And our most valuable, most instructive materials in the history of man are treasured better in India only. This thought of talking about India, the greatness of India, the glory of India, he got from Guruji. The ideas and thoughts of Guruji. And it was very well portrayed, very well narrated. Creation of these narrations is more required now. We need to create proper narrations so that we can understand the proper history, the original, the rich history of India. We are extremely thankful to you, sir. He has done an excellent work today. He really took us back, made us understand what are the thoughts or what are the glorious thoughts that we have to understand our culture, our nation first. And I'm extremely thankful to Shri Milind Gokhale sir, who presided over this session. And I'm extremely thankful to all the people who are here, who made this program a great success. I'm extremely thankful to our secretary sir and our member Prasanna sir, who made all the arrangements to make this program a great success.